Ignition sequence starts. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor, and today I have several interesting things, and I'm going to finish with a slide that SBI has put out. I don't know where it came from. I mean, I knew it came from SBI. First, I wanted to start this video by showing you this. I showed you yesterday that XRP, the Standard Productions, had put out this Coil article. It was a parody about me landing a Brad Garlinghouse interview. And they were joking about how he was joking about how I froze up and I was a deer in the headlights and all this. It was a really funny parody article. Truth is, I did not get a Brad Garlinghouse interview, but I did put this tweet out. I've gotten a great response from this. This was a parody, but Brad Garlinghouse can only avoid his destiny for so long. I wrote down this goal a long time ago, and it will happen. It's just a matter of time. Now, I was jokingly sending out this tweet, but at the same time, I'm not joking and was not joking. See, I'm one of these people who was raised by a father, the official father of the Digital Asset Investor channel, who taught me about a thing called goals. And many of you out there don't understand the concept of goals, but I'm here to tell you that there is a certain power to writing down things that you want to accomplish in life. And once you write it down, it puts things in motion that you don't even know are going on, that will eventually come back around to you. And so I really do mean it when I tell you that, yeah, the goal of interviewing Brad Garlinghouse has been written down. It's just a matter of time. Brad Garlinghouse may not even know it, but he's going to be interviewed by me. It's not an if, it's just a matter of when. And I think he wants to. I don't think it's about what he wants to do. I think it's about what he's allowed to do right now. And that's fine. I understand that. But let me show you a short clip. I grew up, and my dad used to make me listen to this, The Strangest Secret by Earl Nightingale. Listen to it. I've listened to this over 100 times. And any of you that want to really understand about life, you should too. I want you to listen to a short clip, and then you'll understand why it's just a matter of time. And there is a thing called suggestion. You put things out, and things tend to happen. And then all of the people who don't know anything about goals out there and who don't know anything about success and how to achieve things will call you things like lucky and those types of things. But it has nothing to do with luck. It has everything to do with knowing where you're going and knowing what you want to accomplish. And once you write it down, it's called a goal. And at that point, it's just a matter of time. Okay? Listen.
Now let's get back to the strangest secret in the world, the story that I wanted to tell you today. Why do men with goals succeed in life and men without them fail? Well, let me tell you something which, if you really understand it, will alter your life immediately. If you understand completely what I'm going to tell you from this moment on, your life will never be the same again. You will suddenly find that good luck just seems to be attracted to you. The things you want just seem to fall in line, and from now on you won't have the problems, the worries, the gnawing lump of anxiety that perhaps you've experienced before. Doubt, fear, well, they'll be things of the past. Here's the key to success and the key to failure. We become what we think about. Now let me say that again. We become what we think about. Throughout all history, the great wise men and teachers, philosophers and prophets have disagreed with one another on many different things. It's only on this one point that they are in complete and unanimous agreement. Listen to what Marcus Aurelius, the great Roman emperor, said. A man's life is what his thoughts make of it. Disraeli said this. Everything comes if a man will only wait. I've brought myself by long meditation to the conviction that a human being with a settled purpose must accomplish it, and that nothing can resist a will that will stake even existence for its fulfillment. Ralph Waldo Emerson said this, a man is what he thinks about all day long. William James said, the greatest discovery of my generation is that human beings can alter their lives by altering their attitudes of mind. And he also said, we need only in cold blood act as if the thing in question were real, and it will become infallibly real by growing into such a connection with our life that it will become real. It will become so knit with habit and emotion that our interest in it will be those which characterize belief. And he also said, if you only care enough for a result, you will almost certainly attain it. If you wish to be rich, you will be rich. If you wish to be learned, you will be learned. If you wish to be good, you will be good. Only you must then really wish these things, and wish them exclusively, and not wish at the same time 100 other incompatible things just as strongly. In the Bible, you read in Mark 9:23, if thou canst believe, all things are possible to him that believeth. My old friend Dr. Norman Vincent Peale put it this way, this is one of the greatest laws in the universe. Fervently do I wish I had discovered it as a very young man. It dawned upon me much later in life, and I found it to be one of the greatest, if not my greatest discovery outside of my relationship to God. The great law, briefly and simply stated, is that if you think in negative terms, you will get negative results. If you think in positive terms, you will achieve positive results. That is the simple fact, he went on to say, which is at the basis of an astonishing law of prosperity and success. In 3 words, believe and succeed.
Okay, I think that's plenty, but I think that for any of you people out there that are listening to my voice, I want to tell you, you go back and you listen to that and you listen to that over and over and over. And I'm not joking when I say that the Brad Garlinghouses of the world, they don't really have a choice in this matter. It's already been set in motion. It's just a matter of time. I hope you're listening, Brad, because you know it and I know it. But I say all of that, it's in a lighthearted way. I'm joking it in a way, but I'm also not joking. And I wanted you to understand where I'm coming from with that. I believe that once you make up your mind to do anything and you decide that you're not going to stop until you do accomplish it, I believe that you will. I believe that 99.999% of the population never finds that out because they're quitters and they quit. And that if you never listen to one part of any of my videos, listen to the last 5 minutes of what I just showed you and what I just said to you. Especially if you're young people out there. I'm sorry to go off on a tangent, but anyway. Now, when I was thinking about this, I remembered, speaking of people who have gotten an interview, Anthony Pompliano, who doesn't even like Ripple, was able to interview Brad Garlinghouse. That never really made much sense to me, but it's okay. But I remembered that he interviewed Brad Garlinghouse, and so I wanted to play you a couple of clips here that one of them that was very interesting for you to hear, because a lot of you may not know this. It is documented that some of the employees at Ripple take their pay in XRP, or at least part of it. Listen to this.
As I said, I'm here today to try to correct the record on some of those things.
For sure. I only got a couple more questions that we got to wrap up.
Sounds
but
good.
In terms of payment to employees, one of the things I find fascinating is there's plenty of companies that are built around Bitcoin. Employees accept Bitcoin as their salary. Binance, BNB.
Right.
Are there folks at Ripple/XRP that are working on this and getting paid in XRP?
Well, you said Ripple/XRP. There's employees at Ripple who choose to get paid in XRP. Yes.
Okay, got it.
I don't think anybody gets paid 100% in XRP, but it's a kind of an opt-in, and we may limit the amount percentage they can take in XRP. I'm not sure.
Got it.
Right. That, to me, if you're someone who's invested in XRP, that right there might be one of the more important little clips you ever hear. Because if their employees are taking it in XRP, their employees believe that XRP is going to go up in value. And that's just the fact, Jack. Okay, next I wanted to play this clip. And this is the clip that always got me on this, is that after and the backdrop to this is that Anthony Pompliano is not a dumb guy. And so that leads me to believe that he is so caught up in in his ideology that he is ignoring the obvious, and the obvious being that here it's the basic concept of Are we going to be down with the banks and banks are going to be gone and the governments are going to be replaced and Bitcoin's going to be the new money? Or do you believe, like I do, which I think is a lot more of a mature stance, that what Brad Garlinghouse has said all along, which is you've got to warm up to the regulators and work with the regulators, because nobody is going to have this silly revolution that a lot of these Bitcoiners have, and the banks aren't going anywhere. Now, the banks may look different than they look now, but they're not going anywhere, and you're not going to have a down with the banks situation. It's not going to happen. But that's why this clip, I was stunned by this, because at the end of it, Pompliano still just couldn't make heads or tails of this.
I think I'm actually on the podcast on record saying that it's important to separate out software company from XRP. I actually think that having software that makes banks run better, there's big businesses to be built there, right? We've actually invested in a bunch of businesses that either trying to disrupt software products that are currently in banks or are helping banks be more efficient. That all makes a lot of sense to me. XRP, my only big thing that I just can't get over, right? And I understand the I understand the argument as to why is if you can use XRP, right, across the rails, why not use Bitcoin? Now, I think your argument would be volatility, the fact that you can't stop it, all the things.
It's a lot faster and a lot cheaper to use XRP.
So what I end up coming to is there are two.
So he totally ignores that. Oh, well, it's a lot faster and a lot cheaper, but that's not relevant. It's very relevant.
There's probably many versions of the future, but two of those versions are what I will call a corporate company creating a software product that is then sold in an enterprise model into banks, which you guys are doing. And there is likely to be something other than Bitcoin that's used. So whether that's XRP or somebody else comes along and creates something, or it's Libra, or whatever it gets created.
Wait, the white paper?
You notice I didn't even go there until the end. I'm
not going to play any more of that. It's pretty nauseating to listen to how willing that he is to turn his head to the obvious. I'm kind of like, what? Okay. I announced this on Twitter, and so I'll announce it here now. I'm going to be interviewing Roger Ver in the next, and actually, by the way, Roger I worded this wrong. I said he was the creator of Bitcoin Cash. He's not the creator of Bitcoin Cash. He's a proponent of Bitcoin Cash. I think that's the correct way to say that. But I said I'm going to be interviewing him. He's one of the first 10 people. He told me he was the second person at Ripple, so that would be after Jed McCaleb. In the coming week or so, should be able to give some great insight into the early days. I'm going to ask him a lot about Ripple and what it was like early on. That's my plan anyway. I hope he'll go along. And then he'll be telling us some about Bitcoin Cash. Also, and here's, if you haven't ever seen Roger Ver, here's a short clip of him. This is him.
Anyhow, the other coins I also made transactions in. Bitcoin Cash, fast, cheap, and reliable, fantastic. Ethereum, pretty darn cheap, super fast, fantastic. And then I made a Ripple transaction recently as well. Super fast, super cheap again. Although I hear from people that are running Ripple full nodes or Ethereum full nodes, that's a lot of work, and they're a bit more resource intensive, which is fine, because for the end user there that's making the Ethereum or Ripple transaction, like, man, I was impressed with how fast it is. And like, I love the Bitcoin.com wallet. Like, we have a fantastic team working on it. I was testing out the Trust wallet from Binance the other day. That's a slick wallet, and it supports quite a few different cryptocurrencies in there. And I made the Ethereum and the Ripple transactions from that Trust wallet, and like, wow, that was a good experience, and puts Bitcoin to shame. Like, you can, when you compare a Bitcoin transaction with a Ripple or an Ethereum transaction, or just about any other coin at this point, like,
yeah,
Bitcoin has the name recognition and the brand awareness, and it's $10,000 a coin, so people get excited about it because of those things. But anybody that makes a payment with it, like, the best thing that could possibly happen for Bitcoin Cash is for people to make a Bitcoin transaction, then make a Bitcoin Cash transaction.
Yeah, he's got that right. Then I also had another announcement. I am going to be also interviewing Sunny Liu, who's the CEO and co-founder of VeChain. Okay, in the next week or so, I'm also going to be, and there may, I don't have a promise on this yet, but I did talk to Sunny Liu last night in a Zoom call, and they may break some news on my interview. No promises yet, but they said they may have something they can break. So I said, let me know if you have any questions. Talked to him last night. Great guy. Yeah, he was a very down-to-earth guy, and I will be interviewing him. If you haven't ever seen Sonny Liu, here's a little clip from him.
Liu from VeChain. And Sonny, I've been talking about VeChain for a while, but can you quickly describe what VeChain is?
Yeah, VeChain is the next version of public blockchain for smart contract and dApps. And we are able to serve, multiple different industries or multiple different use cases.
Yeah, so we're really excited for the mainnet launch that's coming up soon.
Yeah, me too.
Right. So anyway, that's Sonny Liu, just in case you're wondering. But I will be hopefully interviewing him in the next week or so. All right, Michael at VAL5 links. Overall, Grayscale Bitcoin Trust now has close to 400,000 Bitcoin under management, which is 2.17% of the coin's total circulating supply that currently stands at 18.4 million coins. Now, I wanted to bring this to your attention. I've talked about it on this channel before. I actually own a little bit of this, not much, but if you have an IRA that's at somewhere like a Schwab or an E-Trade type place, this is one of the only ways that you can get access right now to this digital asset space. Grayscale has two of them that I've had access to through my IRA that I have with one of those companies. You can get this one's called the GBTC, and here's another one that mine has access to is the GDLC. The GDLC is their large cap fund. This one just holds Bitcoin, and they sell at a premium. So when you buy these, let's say that Bitcoin was valued at $8,000. If you put $8,000 into this, you're not going to get a whole Bitcoin because there's a premium. You're paying a fee on top of it, okay? And so, but that does not necessarily mean that this thing is going to move up identically with Bitcoin. In other words, if Bitcoin goes up, this is going to go up too. But you could have more money. There's more money that has access to this GBTC through traditional means than there is money available to go buy Bitcoin through, say, Coinbase, because there's just more money in the traditional system. And so this, to me, is a really good way to invest. It's just money that you don't have freely available that's inside of one of these traditional IRAs. Now, you can always sell out and transfer. Like I transferred part of my IRA and created a Roth IRA over at iTrustCapital. That's in the description of all my videos, and I have a coupon code where you can get a free month with them. But if you are keeping your money with one of these traditional places, this is a way. You can also invest in this one right here. It's a large cap fund. It also has a premium, but you're getting a piece of all of these: Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, Bitcoin Cash, and Litecoin through this one. All right. This is an interesting video from Christine Lagarde. A lot of people thought that she says the word Ripple in here, but I think that she's saying the word repo. But listen to her clip here.
An international currency of standing and level that we aspire to unless and until we have a deep European capital market. And we must build that, and I keep repeating it to European leaders. They can't leave that behind if they really mean European autonomy, as it's called. Number two, cooperation with the rest of the world. And, the European Central Bank, yesterday, I'm very proud of it, the Governing Council decided to put in place a new instrument that will allow us to provide euros to countries that can take advantage of that repo instrument that is available. So we can actually facilitate the hardship suffered by countries that have difficulties accessing euros. So cooperation amongst ourselves, cooperation with others, and I believe it will also require significant investment in digital. We will see digital payments, my hope, and we are working hard on that. Oli Ren is a strong supporter of these initiatives, and all Governing Council are determined in that direction. We are working on digital payments expanded, safer. The recent developments of the innovative private sector payment systems shows us that public sector investment and the trust embedded in central banks need to be deployed for that precisely. And, whether it is cross-border payment, whether it is remittances, whether it is access to the population that is still unbanked, all that needs to be supported in this digital payment world towards which we are marching. It's not just about China, it's not just about Libra, it's also about us. And I think that intelligent cooperation plus a good digital instrument and appropriate regulation to back it up will help us develop that euro strong currency that will be a currency of reference. These things happen gradually over time, and then it happens very fast. Let's hope that we'll see that one of these days.
I like that last statement that she made. They happen gradually, and then it happens really fast. Well, let me tell you about gradually. Gradually, over the last 2+ years, we have watched all of this, tons of good news about Ripple. Left and right, nothing but good news and adding banks and adding this many banks a week. And then we see Brad Garlinghouse in a room with a bunch of central bankers. And then we see him with the IMF. And then we see this and that. Gradually, we've seen all of that. Well, then all of a sudden it just happens. Well, that's how I think this goes down. Okay. Now, this was a follow-up to that from XRP Crypto. Well, the European Union is creating a new regulatory regime for cryptocurrency that will launch in 2020. A new regulatory regime for cryptocurrencies will not only cover unregulated crypto assets, but it'll consolidate and unite existing standards across Europe. And then there was this from XRP Yo-Yo. I thought this was an interesting video as well.
Chairman Powell, I wonder, and to some degree you've already spoken to this, but is this indicative of a larger issue? And is it temporary, or is this point to a larger structural issue on this particular matter?
No, we believe it's just temporary. It's due to the fact that of the economy being in significant part closed, as I mentioned, and the flow of coins through the economy. Something that we don't. I mean, the reserve banks and the banks think about it all the time, but now we're beginning to see those shortages. We've been aware of it. We're working with the Mint to increase supply, and we're working with the reserve banks to get that supply where it needs to be. So we think it's a temporary situation.
And if you would give, I guess, the banks that I'm talking with, like the one that I mentioned in my district, what would you suggest they do to deal with this issue? And I'm thinking particularly not only about the banks, but their customers, businesses, and the consumer who is going to be faced, all of these institutions and individuals are going to be faced with the prospect of having to round up or round down. And in a time when pennies are the difference between profitability and loss, it seems like it might be a bigger concern than the announcement from the Fed would indicate that it is.
So I would encourage your banks to get in touch with their reserve bank. I don't know whether you're Atlanta or St. Louis, but which area, it may be both in your district, I don't know. But in any case, they're responsible for this, and we're working hard on it.
Every time I watch Powell, I just feel sorry for him, because I'm like, what an impossible position to defend the silliness that has gone on at the Fed. That's just silly. Well, it's not my job. I'm glad of that. One of the best places you can be is in YouTube land, where you don't have to answer. You don't have all these pressures and all the same stuff these guys are dealing with. Golly. Current management. This was put out by SBI Holdings, folks. Watch this. Current management information briefing, June 26, 2020. Yoshitaka Katal, Representative Director, President, and CEO, SBI Holdings. I went and found the interesting pages, and I'm going to go through this and try not to spend too much time, but there are so many good slides in this that you are going to be blown away. Trust me on that. Here's the first. Crypto asset XRP was added as a new shareholder benefit option. So they're providing XRP. People have to open SBI VC accounts, it looks like. and then they can get XRP once they open these, and I think they can choose to get this as a dividend. All right, now I'm going to flow. Let me go real fast to 108. They didn't have another good one till 108, but then there's a bunch of them. Okay, here's 108, and then I'm going to play you a video that goes along with this. Look right here. SBI VC Trade is preparing various measures to expand its business in response to the revisions in the Payment Services Act of May 2020. Well, what caught my attention is this one, June 2020 smartphone app. So I'm thinking about this, the Money Tap app, and it says this happens June 2020. Now, what this also reminds me of, because remember, this is SBI. And remember, Thinking Crypto had interviewed this guy, Adam Trademan, who is the new CEO of SBI Ripple Asia. And he said, there's two clips here I want to play just to remind you. Here's one.
A great adoption for Ripple technology in those areas. And that's what Ripple calls RippleNet. It's not really XRP related, although it's becoming XRP related. But so as the CEO of we've created.
So he's working at SBI Ripple Asia. He tells you that it's RippleNet and it's not XRP related, but it's becoming XRP related. And then there was also this clip where he's telling you just how big a part of SBI, what SBI is thinking and what their plans are for XRP.
As a marketing team, right? And SBI is literally Ripple's biggest fan. Like, Kitao-san is trying to make XRP and Ripple successful everywhere. Let me give you an example that'll seem crazy to you, but it's actually true. So there's going to be the next World's Fair. Can you imagine they still have these things? World's Fair is going to be in Osaka in like 2025, something like that. I don't remember.
Wow, they still have those? Wow. Okay.
Yeah, I know, right? That's what I said, right? It's going, if he gets his way, the CEO of SBI, it's going to be, if you go there and you want to buy anything from a Coca-Cola to a hamburger, it's going to take XRP. You can only pay an XRP. That's what we're working towards. Okay. Wow. That's just one little example, right? Sure. But more important to that is replacement for international wire transfers in SWIFT, right? So I'm meeting all the time with these like bankers, central bankers. I met with the head of the central bank from Cambodia last year in December. And they're looking for alternatives to technologies like SWIFT because they want to get out from under the thumb of the U.S. Department of Treasury, which sort of runs the global banking network, right? I mean, SWIFT is a Belgian company by definition.
Okay. So let's go back to the slides now. That was one I wanted to show you. Let's go down to 114. This one is interesting too. Establishment of Japan's first crypto asset fund. Anonymous partnership. Fundraise is expected to begin during the summer of 2020. That would be now. Providing individual investors with a crypto asset fund that embodies the resources of the SBI Group. Crypto assets which have a low correlation to traditional assets such as stocks, bonds, etc., enhance the effectiveness and diversification. Now, for all of this time, folks, we've been watching as these different funds here in the United States, they have they're most heavily weighted in Bitcoin, which doesn't even work, doesn't even do anything other than be a store of value, and they know it. And it never has made any sense. Why would you have a higher percentage of the fund in Bitcoin? Well, all of a sudden, things are starting to make sense because this makes a lot more sense. The greatest digital asset ever created being 50% of the portfolio and Bitcoin getting a small slice. These two proof of work, which does not work, getting a smaller slice of the pie in terms of the investment because XRP makes sense. It has always made sense and the others didn't. And they don't. And that's just the fact, Jack. Okay? All right. So now let's go to slide 120. Well, let me see if there's anything else on that. Anyway, they're creating a fund, and this is just the beginning, folks. Not just going to be one fund. There's going to be funds all over the world. And guess who was here before they ever got formed? You and me. All right. And then there was this slide that was interesting. Establishing a global organization structure around SBI digital asset holdings to proactively expand business in the digital asset field that suits the DX era. And it's got all of these different companies, SBI VC Trade. And then you look down here, digital asset issuance market. And they're partnered with Securitas. It says promote business alliances with strategic investee companies or make them into subsidiaries. And so they've got R3 on here. They've got Ripple, CoolBitX, BRD, Securitas. All these companies we've been talking about are right there, folks. Does my son need to draw you an SBI slide drawing? Is that what he needs to do? Because he will do it. He's in a good mood today. All right. 131, he just made his bed and came and told me, and so I know that he's in a good mood. When he's doing that, he's really interested in trying to make me happy that day for some reason. I don't know what he's got in his mind. Okay, my 14-year-old does not care about making me happy anymore. He used to. He's too cool for school now. The SBI Group has already systematically accumulated know-how and technologies for the development of blockchain and distributed ledger technology in various fields, including the supply chain. SBI Ripple Asia, a joint venture between SBI Group and Ripple. SBI R3 Japan, a joint venture between SBI Group and R3. Office of Blockchain Promotion, a cross-sectional organization of SBI Group. Okay, it keeps going. SBI Group cooperates closely with US R3 and US Ripple, which could become the de facto standard of the next generation through investment, establishment of JV, etc., with both companies, developing projects that are not limited to the financial industry by using smart contract-based technology. International transfer, Ripple, specialized in international remittance. Look at this, folks. Trade finance. Look at all these things. Cross-border transaction, derivatives, commodity, repo, bonds, supply chain, real estate. See where this is going, folks? I mean, this really is an opportunity for my son to draw you guys a picture. Accelerate, it's got another R3s on this one as well. Then we go to 137. Let's go to 137 right here. All right, so now we have MoneyTap. MoneyTap collaborating with financial institutions for a win-win service offering. Remember, MoneyTap is the little app on your phone, and the way I always understood it, the Japanese bank consortium, the whole idea was to take this MoneyTap, the app on your phone, and get it to the point where all of the customers of all of those banks in the consortium will have MoneyTap on their phone, and they will be able to send money from each of their bank accounts into the bank accounts of the other people using MoneyTap. Now, here's what I found interesting right here. Look at MoneyTap's logo. You see that? You know what it reminds me of? That logo is almost identical to this logo, which is for the Interledger protocol. Just thought I'd mention that. All right, but then if you go through these, there's a couple of slides here, and then down here, you will see Ripple. At a stage where the acceptance of investments from domestic financial institutions has been completed, MoneyTap will consider accepting an investment from US Ripple in order to strengthen technical cooperation and the promotion of initiatives related to international remittances. I mean, are they screaming XRP at me? Because it feels that way. I wanted to finish up by showing you, if you haven't looked, you can still get up to 21% off with these Ledger Nano S and Ledger X family packs. There's a link to the description if you still haven't gotten a Ledger Nano S or a Ledger Nano X. Just a link to in the description of all of my videos if you want to go get one. I use them. I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe and hit the like button and tell your friends and family that the digital asset investor will be interviewing Roger Ver as well as Sunny Liu. And I am also working on the CEO of Uphold now. Thank you for listening.